The prophet Isaiah, forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. Welcome to the Citizen Arts podcast series, Israeli Voices, Who We Are. Episode 6, a teacher helping young Haredim take on life-altering challenges of military service. An ultra-Orthodox rabbi, educator, and entrepreneur, acclaimed for forging pathways for Haredim to be active participants in Israel's high-achieving, on-the-go, uber-patriotic society while keeping time-honored customs and traditions. Soldiers speaking about the honor of defending their country, fighting for freedom. Israel's parliament, it comes up kind of suddenly in this residential neighborhood. It's on a low Jerusalem hill in what looks like a giant parking lot surrounded by another of those formidable metal fences you see here. I assume this empty space is full of security stuff, a buffer between the streets outside the fence and the modern kind of boxy Knesset. We couldn't get into the main assembly hall. We met with a leader of one of the minority political parties. I was hoping for insights about Israel's ever-evolving, turbulent politics, but he was in a hurry. So he just commented on the coalition of right-wing and ultra-Orthodox political parties controlling the assembly and Israeli government. Used an expression I've been hearing. Israelis live in a tough neighborhood. That accounts for a lot of the thinking and a lot of the back and forth, and maybe sometimes and oftentimes a lot of the political confrontation. So he said that, and he was gone.
Where are you from?
We're from New York. I'm sorry, you said your name was Tamara?
Yes.
You're waiting for your students to come out of the Knesset?
Yes, I am.
And is your school in Jerusalem?
It's not a school, it's sort of like a program that teaches life skills and, let's say, history, Zionism. We try to get them in shape for the army.
What do you mean when you say get them in shape?
These are ultra-Orthodox.
I didn't think they had to serve.
They can if they want to. Their communities are very conservative, and most of their lives, they learn Torah and Gemara. They want to be part of the Israeli society, and they don't know how.
Do you find there are more of these people volunteering?
No, unfortunately. They're very, very unique.
Well, what's their motivation?
Some of them said that October 7th was like a turning point, and some of them, from a young age, they want to explore beyond their communities, and they started to research and things. And most of them, they're not in contact with their family anymore.
Are they being ostracized, punished by their families for doing this?
Most of them, yeah.
So the families have severed the relationship with them. What happens when they're finished with their military service?
We have one of the counselors of the program. He's also ultra-Orthodox, and he served in the army already, and he got from this charity foundation an apartment. He shares these with Haredi who need help after the army. The army has a program in the end of the military service to complete high school, to complete math and English and stuff like that, and most of them they want to do this.
How many students do you have in the program?
Now we have 32.
Are they from
All over the country?
Yes, most of them are from cities with a big Haredi community, yeah.
It's so sad they've lost their families and communities.
Yeah, amazing people. I always tell them that. I don't think I can do that.
It takes a lot of courage.
Yeah.
Because not only that, they're going into a whole world they have no knowledge of, the military.
You know, this is such a coincidence. This afternoon, we'll be meeting with Rabbi Bombach.
Oh, seriously? I know him. He's the leader in helping the young ultra-Orthodox find life in army and Israeli society.
We're going to find out more about that. But that's fascinating work you're doing. There's a lot of psychology in that, isn't there? Because
Yeah.
they don't know what they're getting into.
They don't know who they are. They have like an identity crisis that I never experienced. Like we have a full-time social worker that like is dealing with them. You wouldn't believe, like every one of them is such a story. They are interesting people.
You are doing such important work.
Thank you.
More tall fences, but in a very different place. An ultra-Orthodox Jewish community on the West Bank. And right next to it, a Palestinian community. The twain don't meet very often, except on the highway connecting the West Bank and Jerusalem and going elsewhere on the West Bank. There's a Muslim minaret right there, and right here, a synagogue. This is a crazy, mixed-up place. A slam of people who have varying degrees of enmity for each other, yet see each other doing the same kinds of chores, shopping, washing clothes, so forth, through 15-foot walls of barbed wire. They're that close. Kids playing in the playground over there, kind of dressed up for Shabbat.
That's what ultra-Orthodox always wear.
Is this Rabbi Bombach's place? Is this his school?
Yeah, his academy.
You were about to tell us a joke. Gotta love a rabbi who can tell a good joke.
I can tell you many jokes, but this is not one. It's a sad story about food. When I start the first high school, this school, right? This is my first high school I started 13 years ago. I hired a staff to help me to encourage people in the community to come to open event. They should listen to my idea. A school officially combines secular studies and religious. You know, they are suspicious about new ideas, mainly in the ultra-Orthodox community. They don't want any change. And all of a sudden, we get a list of 150 people. They're gonna come. And I said, I need a nice place to welcome them with great food, with a presentation that speaks about my vision. And 7:30 in the evening, I'm just waiting and no one is coming. I was shocked. I called my secretary and I asked her, and she said, yeah, you don't understand, you forget the Israelis always comes late. About 8 o'clock, just came 4 couples. That's all. They asked one of the mothers, would you considering sending your kids to the school? She said, I don't have kids. I said, why you came? She said, I heard it's gonna be great food tonight. That was how my program started.
Jews do like their food.
We do, very much.
Let's start at the beginning, before your first attempt at a banquet, and how it came to be that you are in this school in your office. What's the story of how this happened?
So I grew up in very extreme Orthodox Jewish neighborhood in Jerusalem. I didn't know nothing about outside my community. It was like quite an isolated neighborhood. I spoke only Yiddish. I didn't speak even Hebrew. And one day I get an offer to become a counselor for Russian immigrants. I wanted to be an educator. That was my dream. This young Russian child, his name was Vadim, came to me and said, I need to do some homework in English. But I didn't know ABC, so I could not teach him that. So I said, but can you help me do some homework in math? And I didn't know math, because in my community, they're not teaching us nothing formal beside Torah studies. So it's very dark moments with Vadim. I understand I must take new journey to grow in my life. And I start a huge effort to fill gaps. So I made a degree in education, and then I made a degree in Hebrew University, second degree in public policy.
How unusual was it for someone like you to do that?
It's very rare. I started 25 years ago, but even now it's quite rare that people from the ultra-Orthodox community goes to those places. I will tell you something very crazy. The only place that I was revealed to the outside my community, it was my doctor. When I was sick, my mother, she took me to the doctor, and the doctor was outside the community, and I was so curious about his world, and I always wanted to be sick. Right? And since I was revealed to the Israeli society, I said, why we need to be disconnected, isolated? I didn't understand it. I love people. I love my community. I have the privilege to criticize them because I'm a part of them. I don't have any privilege to criticize other communities. I have the privilege to say something about my community with love, loyalty, and compassion. But there is a lot of people from my community who will never talk to me. They feel I am the enemy, but I come to them blessed to love them.
You're broadening your world, you're getting college degrees. At what point did you say to yourself, how am I going to apply this? What am I going to do with this?
I felt I want to do something to help my community to become a part of Israel. It was like it becomes a dominant motivation that my community be more involved of Israel, not staying apart, and to give opportunities for young people to become a part of Israel. So when I finished my second degree in Hebrew University, I came to the president of Hebrew University and I said, I think the best way to make it happen is to start a pre-academic program for Haredim that can start to close gaps, because we usually in our community, we are not coming with any background in secular studies. Pre-academic program in Hebrew University could be at the best place to make it happen. So we start the project. It still exists.
How did you get people coming from a closed community to do this? Would they be ostracized by their families, by their community?
Yes, I think because for students coming to college, they are of age to become much more individuals. They're not asking their parents. Feels it's a stage in life they need to take a decision. So we started this special project, but unfortunately, over 50% dropped out.
You're saying they are so brought up with such a certain way of thinking that it's very difficult to get them to sit at the table with you and talk about certain things in a way they've never even thought about. And they couldn't deal with it.
Exactly. One of the sad stories that I faced is one of the guy came to university from, it's like the Harvard of Yeshiva in Bnei Brak. Young guy came to me and said, I want to become a physician. And I was very happy for him and said, wow, you want to be a doctor? So I will help you to make it happen. I provide him everything, teach with, and he came back after 3 months and said, it's impossible to complete those gaps. It's like new languages. English, it's impossible. He started crying. He said, I think I'm going to be a cashier. He was so frustrated. And it was a moment I understood the pre-academic college program is a great idea, but not to make a real change. The real change you need to start much earlier than college. So this was my first yeshiva, this one where we are sitting now.
How come it was started here? We're in an ultra-Orthodox community. We're on the West Bank. We're almost surrounded by Palestinian Arabs. There are giant fences. This is an area in conflict. And you decide to start here rather than in, let's say, Jerusalem or some other Israeli city.
So you should know the Haredim settle here not for the political issue. It's not like the national Zionist movements of Jewish settlers on the West Bank. If you ask Haredim why they come to live here, it's very cheap to come in. Now in Israel, it becomes very expensive to live, and the Haredi community has no money.
Why does the Haredi community generally not have wealth?
Because the Haredi community is in isolation from Israeli society. It does not have the skills or motivation to make money to live in general Israeli society. I started a network of schools that combines secular and religious learning. We have now 20 schools all in Israel except this one in West Bank. And it's the first network that educate kids to become a part of Israel without losing their identity. I mean, that's the idea. You stay who you are, it's okay. We have great things inside the Haredi community, great values. We don't want to lose it, but I don't believe in isolation. We are not in Europe 200 years ago. We are in Israel. It's our country, it's our land. The more and more people trust us. And we prove that the majority who go to our school stay in the Haredi community. And this is amazing. And we're going to grow more and more and more. You will see them more and more in the workforce and the army and integrate in Israeli society. That's my main vision. That's the reason I get up in the morning with love and motivation. It's just about that. I love Israel. The Haredi cannot stay with isolation. If you are only studying Torah, you don't learn math and science and English. So how you can make money to live can be a Torah teacher, scribe. You can be, those kinds of jobs, but it's not jobs that you can really get money. And that's why 60% in this city is under the poverty line. It's very sad. You cannot imagine how many people lives with this story with peace. They love themselves. They feel we are not here in this world just to get more and more. The main mission as a Jew in Israel is to serve God, to be God-fearing, loving Torah, and they just choose a frugal lifestyle. It's amazing. I'm not a part of it, right? But I admire those kinds of people. They're amazing. But for many, it's paying a price. They cannot provide sometimes basic needs for their kids. They get by because the life in the Haredi community is quite cheap. It's not like someone who lives in Tel Aviv, right? The schools are cheaper, the grocery is cheaper. But this is because there's a lot of community assistance, government subsidy. The community is very dedicated for each other. You understand? There's great values in the community, but the reality is it's very hard to finance the families.
What do you find most admirable about the Haredi community?
I will tell you the main 5 characteristics about the Haredi community, right? The first one is obligation to the Jewish law. It's about how you protect your Jewishness. The second one is to be isolated from the outside world, not to be influenced from the Western values and what the internet is giving for our children. And studying Torah is something very strong. And another characteristic is the ambivalence toward Zionism and modernism. I can say the majority of the Haredim are not against Zionism. They are, let's say, indifferent, right? You have 10% very extreme Haredi that are against. About 30-40%, they see themselves as citizens in Israel. They don't have the courage to take steps. Another characteristic is you never ever do something without asking the rabbi. And this is very dominant characteristic. I present a new stream in the Haredi community.
How did you reach a point where you were able to think this way and act this way? What was it in your upbringing? Because you came out of a very traditional Haredi world.
I'm saying I have very open soul. I love Israel. And I think I have very strong moral feelings. And I think it's unmoral to stay aside. My moral compass wouldn't allow.
How did this affect your relationships with your peers growing up?
I will tell you, there is many people that will never talk to me. I have a lot of people who hate me. But there's a lot of people who wanting me to have success. They know if I'm going to succeed, I'm going to bring a redemption for many Israel.
Of course, you know about that Haredi demonstration in Jerusalem the other day. Hundreds of thousands. We sort of drove through it. I was looking around and I was looking at all these people and wondering what's motivating them, what's going on. And I was thinking about maybe a lot of it's fear. It's sort of fear that becoming more engaged in Israeli society by going into the military and maybe doing other things outside their communities would destroy the traditional foundation of their communities. So I'm wondering what steps you take to break through that fear.
When you change, you have to deal with three components. You start with just the small steps, the baby steps to the water edge, and then you dive in the water where the foundations and the beliefs and the norms. This is a place you have to touch. Otherwise, you're just given very small change in the surface. And the third one is you have to deal with opposite currents in the water. In the beginning, I had a lot of opposition, and people have a lot of fear. The community has fear of those breaking the tradition, as you described. But I believe the only way to help my community to survive as a community is to change. Stagnation makes community dies. And change is not such a terrible word. Everything changed, the world changed. See what's happened just the last few years with technology. It's completely a new world, completely. I'm very excited about it. I feel it's a touch from God.
What would be a dramatically positive step for the Haredi community to take? Is it to think of themselves as Israeli first, Haredi second, or Haredi and Israeli? Identities balanced?
My vision is everybody should see themselves Haredi Israeli. A hybrid identity. Haredi Israeli is the best way to live in 2026. I want to say to my community, the people who wants to sit and study Torah all day long, absolutely should do so. I believe in studying Torah. And you see the prices of assimilation can be too high. People lose a sense of values, who they are, how they should be. It's so sad. And we need to say, wow, there is a different community. They are getting up in the morning, do the best what they can to keep and to preserve the Jewish values as it was since 3,000 years ago. It's an amazing thing. But if that community just reject others and are not part of main community, what kind of influence is that? What kind of Judaism it is? I want to see them integrated in Israel. I want to see them in the army, even if they need special conditions. Haredi who do this will gain much in their lives and be positive force in Israeli life. They will bring much to the Israeli community.
Did you serve?
Yeah, I serve. I can tell you, I'm very close with the army. And I want to tell you, before October 7, it was not too much motivation in the army to bring Haredi inside. I know I had a lot of discussions, but since October 7, the army realized it needs more soldiers. So they're much more open and they understand if they want Haredi inside, they need to provide for their needs. And that's mean to protect their values and to do the best what they can to make it. They should come in as a Haredi to go out as Haredi. This is a new discussion, and I'm telling you the army is ready for it. And now they need to prove that the concept works. It's going to make more trust to the community. I know so many Haredim who wants to go to the army, but they really have fear. They will lose being Haredim. I have a son who was in the army. He's not religious anymore.
What does he consider himself to be?
He's secular.
He's secular.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
It's okay.
Earlier today, near the Knesset, we met a young lady who runs a program for ultra-Orthodox who want to serve in the military and to be involved in Israeli society. She helps them prepare for that. She talked about how hard it is for many of them. They can have an identity crisis. They are cut off from their families, and they may never be able to go back if they follow that path. I can't imagine what it takes to deal with that kind of choice. Feeling you have to give up your family to follow what you believe is a truer path for you.
I feel one of my missions is to say to the community, yes, if your kids choosing different, embrace them and love them. And my wife, she's doing workshops which help them continue to love their children and have courage to keep them inside the family, even if they choose different. I can tell you, since I made a issue about it and I published and it was become part, I post about them on Facebook. There are now new organizations in the Haredi community that meets with the parents to help them and to encourage them not to reject the kids.
You have 20 schools now. About how many kids do you have going through the schools at any one time?
A few thousand.
What level is this?
High school, elementary school, boys' school, girls' school. We have also an online school with 55,000 people, Haredim.
When they finish, what's the
So
typical next?
everyone is choosing something different. There's some of them go to the army, some of them go to academic world. You know, there is an open world. Most importantly, 95% see themselves as a part of Israel. Not only Haredim, hybrids. That's the point. Outside my system, 10% officially dropping out from the Haredim community. In my system, less.
Are there other programs in the country that are aiming for the same goal as yours to try to integrate?
There is a lot of now state schools in Israel, yes, but it's individuals, not as a network. A network is a very powerful movement because it gives confidence and you bring very special education inside. You train better the teachers, you preserve your values. You have annual event and we have hundreds and hundreds of teachers comes and gathering together and sharing what they experience, what they learn. It's amazing, right? It's a very powerful movement.
You're not a state school, you're a private school. How do students who come from Haredi families with little money afford the school?
No, it's state schools. I started schools, I build it. It takes them usually 3 years to get fully funding from the government. I invest the money in the first 3 years in teachers, principals, and then once you have enough students, I don't need to pay anymore. I start last year a new movement. All our schools are going to Poland to see the Holocaust, to feel and understand the story of Israel. And the Haredi community is not going. It's not part of their learning in the community. But I believe when you go there, you understand why we need Israel. It become official state expedition. More and more schools in Haredi community, in addition to my network, they are joining those journeys. It's amazing. That's the way you influence. You become like an engine. We are the engine.
Haredim may live distinct from Israeli society, but they are playing a role in Israeli politics. But it's not necessarily in thinking about Israel. It's protecting their own interests, correct?
Yes.
Okay, here's what I hear in the States. The Haredi community's about more than religion when it suits their purposes. They're part of a political alliance controlling Israel's government. They're heavily engaged in influencing the political direction of the country. And questions are, how can this be only for their own purposes and not for the state of Israel overall?
Listen, we are not in a political correct show, right? Yes, the Haredi members of Knesset, most influences how they can take more control to their community and to bring more resources to their community. And I would say there is so many Haredi looking for different representatives. And once it will happen, I think we can see more and more Haredim who are gonna leading in a different way. Because, I'm always saying, if 90% of your energy goes to protect your walls, you can get up in the morning and find out one day that you don't have nothing inside the walls. So I think people will challenge themselves and think themselves, we are Jewish and we have Jewish values, we're obligated to Jewish law, and we continue protecting our values, but not putting our face away from the Israeli society. The most important thing now, and since October 7 mainly, is to bring people together, to respect everyone, and to show there is different ways. Yes, and this is my mission.
As your movement grows, as you produce more graduates, do you think the Haredi voting pattern will change, will be aimed more at benefiting the state of Israel?
My education system is very about moderation, tolerance. The women in Israel, some years ago, shaped a good paradigm about understanding how we can act different, think different. So she said, imagine a pizza. Everybody loves pizza. Each slice in the pizza presents a different community in Israel. People who are in the center of the slices are much closer to each other than the people at the extreme ends of the slices. I really believe in the center, and it's the best Jewish location to stay there. And this is a part of my education. So, and this has completely great results. And that's mean my graduates gonna act different, think different, gonna be much more individuals with a lot of respect of the main Jewish values. You understand what I'm talking about?
Best Jewish location. I like that. And I have a personal reason why. There are many ultra-Orthodox Jews in communities like Williamsburg and Borough Park in and around New York City, but you are the first ultra-Orthodox person I've met who I've had a real conversation with.
Wow.
Because I have never felt that people in America's ultra-Orthodox community, which would be equivalent of Haredim here, have any interest in me whatsoever. I've always wanted to know why. Now I understand, thanks to you. So I am very grateful for this conversation, and this is a conversation that you're opening up throughout Israel, and you're so right. The benefits could be enormous for the Haredim and all of Israel.
We need to be united, respect others, not judgment other people. Everybody lives in a different circumstances, different tradition. I really believe that we need to bring love, to be united, to believe that we have a common interest.
Shalom, Rabbi Bombach. Peace and love to you.
Shalom, thank you.
You're active military in the IDF?
Yeah.
You were in that valley?
Yes. What are you doing here?
Looking out for rattlesnakes?
No rattlesnakes in West Bank.
I'm just kidding. Just taking some pretty photos for the folks back home. It sure looks like Arizona. You were hiking?
One-day trip, training, patrolling.
Ooh, it is hot. How far did you go?
No, not very much.
But it was up and down.
As towards the answer.
Up and down. Where are you from?
We are armored brigade.
Tanks?
Yes.
Are we on military property?
Yes, in this part of West Bank, mostly military.
Going all around the country.
Where's your brigade based?
I will say it is near.
What do you do in the tank?
We both are loaders.
So they're your loaders.
Yes.
Okay, you load the cannons.
Yes.
Right. Do you call them cannons?
Yes.
It works.
Yes, it is.
Here come some more guys. I admire you climbing these hills with all that equipment. Those rifles look pretty heavy.
Not too much.
You were in for 3 years, right?
Yes.
And then what will you do?
Hey guys, did you get a good workout? I was just asking your buddies here.
What will you do after your 3 years is up? What are you going to do?
I'm not really sure about this. We go to yeshiva.
So we've got, it's quite a group around us now. Wow.
Anyone else maybe going on to yeshiva after the 3 years? By yeshiva, you mean college, right?
Yeah.
I'm also go after studying to the yeshiva.
So I'm an old military guy, U.S. Army
A veteran.
veteran, and I thought the military was pretty tough. How about you? Is the Israeli military training tough?
I think it's tough, but 2 years of the war that we just finished now was tougher. I think it's the best time to be a soldier, a lieutenant. I'm a lieutenant, he's a lieutenant also. You are feeling you are doing a very important thing in the battlefield. The training is tough, but I think it really depends on the unit. But in the battlefield, it's tougher.
So have you all been to Gaza?
We all been in Gaza.
As a lieutenant, you command a platoon?
As a lieutenant, I command on a platoon, 2 tanks. The thing we did in Gaza was really complicated, and in fact, we have just did the most complicated war that the IDF has ever been in urban places.
What was particularly difficult about Gaza?
I think it's really tiny spaces you need to navigate through, and a lot of really urban places. Really urban. And I'm feeling after a lot of time that I'm fighting that we really improved.
It kind of feels like we're fighting like as a machine, you know. It's like it became automatic after 2 years.
And the armed profession is really tough. You need to be really professional. You need to hold yourself because it's a lot of time you're in Gaza and you need to be really intact with what's happening.
What's the most important thing for you about serving in the military? What matters most?
Honestly, it's like the honor of like defending my country, you know.
Okay.
Doing like everything my father did and my grandfather did, taking part in this culture.
In US, the danger is not very close, it's far away. But Gaza, it's like an hour drive home.
I think we all here know people that were murdered in the 7 October. And we all know people who died in this war, and you really feel in your heart that you must do it. This is now I must do it now. It's the morality of the Israeli people. It's really hard fighting this long, but this is the morality of our people.
Let's say you could change one thing instantly in Israel, in the world, no questions asked. It's done. What would you change?
Honestly, removing the gaps between religions, you know.
Removing the gap between religions. Which religions?
Everything. Like between like you have this like I don't know how to call it, but it's like the religions always like feel like they have to fight each other. You know, even Christianity, which is like more moderate today, like everything is like competing against each other. It feels like
Make us, our people, more understandable in the eyes of the Lord. In my eyes, it seems like people not really understand what we're actually doing.
We're very grateful you're talking to us, telling us how you feel. One last thing, can we get a picture with you guys?
I think this is a problem for us to show our faces because we IDF. I'm sorry.
Oh, we totally understand. It's been great talking to you. I have so much respect for how you feel about serving your country.
we fight for our freedom.
It's really appreciated that you come all the way from the States to ask about the other things that we did. And I think it's really important those days. And the anti-Semitism in the world is crazy. And most of the people doesn't really know when they talk about the war, the apartheid or the genocide.
I feel like it's really hard to understand. Like Israel is not another country. You know?
People do not understand the mentality of the Middle East. Doesn't understand that the Israelis are defending their homeland, and if we will put our weapons down, there will be no Israel. But if the Islamists will put their weapon down, we will just live peacefully. I hope one day my son will put his weapon down, but it's hard to say. It's really hard to say.
Thank you for listening to episode 6 of Israeli Voices, Who We Are. Many, many thanks to Tamara, Rabbi Menachem Bombach, and Israeli soldiers on patrol. You'll find more about Tamara and Rabbi Bombach in our show notes. In episode 7, a Jerusalem college educating Israel's educators. AI is a tool for intelligent learning, not dumbing down. Valuing collective and community awareness. Worries about and appreciation for sending children to military service. Palestinian student insights into the importance of learning English, imaginative teaching, social media distractions, mutual respect, ending hate. Holocaust reflections at Yad Vashem. Soldiers studying Israel's founders, holding fast to fallen comrades. Citizen Arts is a not-for-profit 501c3 educational organization that seeks to present constructive, compelling information, ideas, and opinions about important civic, social, and cultural matters. We very much welcome your feedback. Dear listeners, please stay healthy in mind and body, both in goodwill and wise in action. I'm Jim Gabe, Citizen Arts founder. Jill Gabe is executive producer.
Jeff Lewis is producer and artistic director. Hillik Wald is our Israel field producer.